Hello, everybody. It's Bradley Morris from Magic Media and Tad Hargrave from Marketing for Hippies. And today we're going to have a conversation because it's a year in review. It's been a year since we launched the Marketing for Hippies membership. And we're just going to get the down low from Tad on what's happened, what's gone well, what hasn't gone well, what's he learned about building an online community and a membership space for people, what experiments has he tried to implement inside of his community space. And I'll share a little bit about some of the experiments we've tried in the other communities we've been building. And hopefully at the end of this conversation, if you're building a community, if you're thinking about building a mighty network, if you already have one, then maybe you'll take away some nuggets and inspiration and new ideas on how you can better engage your people and build the community of people that you want to have. So, Tad, welcome to this moment.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Nice to see you. So, tell us, 1 year, I think a good starting point is it's been a year. You were extremely resistant for 3 years leading up to actually having a membership. Now you've had one for a year. Do you have any regrets? How's it feel to have your community space?
It feels good. I think one of the big things I'm really learning since we had to sit down last about this is that this membership thing is a real long-term game. This isn't a short-term immediate thing, although certainly I'm making more money from this than I was making with my mentorship program that I was doing. And probably for about the same amount of work. So yeah, so that's good. And I do see also, whereas with the mentorship program I was doing, 12 people, 400 US a month, there was a bit of a cap. I mean, I could have doubled the price on it, tripled, I don't know, there's just a point where I don't know how I was going to be able to scale it, whereas this I can scale, which is immensely hopeful. But yeah, I'm just seeing it as a bit, it's like when somebody opens a restaurant, of course they get financing, there's for like 3 years to get it to that point. And so I'm starting to see a membership in some ways like this. There's just more upfront cost, I think, than I'd considered that there might be. So for example, for me, getting all my material moved in to it, which is a lot, which will be more than most people.
Yes.
Second, hiring somebody to be the administrator, the staff person on it, stay in touch with people. I've been doing, which I'm really glad I've done, the recordings of all the calls and then having them time-stamped and broken into little chunks. So people can watch the whole thing if they want to, but they can also just see a 5-minute clip or a 13-minute clip where I'm answering somebody's question or we're doing a group brainstorm around something. But that costs money to do. Every single one of those timestamps, I don't know how much actually. This is another point, is just the importance of really managing the costs on these things. I was looking in the wrong place, so I assumed I was actually making more money than I am on the membership. So I wasn't as careful with the costs. I'm still doing well. Like $1,000 a month is pretty good Canadian, but keeping an eye on the cost, knowing like how much am I paying for each of these things. And again, there's a short-term, long-term thing. So short-term, it's costing money to do that, but long-term, it means I'll have this incredible vault of material. And the other thing I'm really seeing is when people come in, the biggest feedback we've gotten, which we haven't properly handled yet, but we're moving in that direction, is people just don't know where to start.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I come in, there are literally, at this point, there's probably 2,000 videos, articles, there's so much. And it's overwhelming and they don't know where to begin. And even the courses, I think there's like 10 courses or something that people could check out. So people feel overwhelmed. So number one of the things we're doing more recently is going through all the topics. So we've got all the content divided into very specific topics. So for example, niching, hub marketing, point of view marketing, inner work, some kind of 101 level foundational stuff.
Yeah.
We're dividing it up into those chunks. So all the 101 stuff is together. All the inner work stuff is in one. If you're scrolling, it's just boom, 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 boom in a row. And I keep subdividing it. So for example, there used to be just one hub marketing topic. Now there's 5 or 6. Like, what is hub marketing? Why does it matter? What are examples of it? How do you find your hubs? How do you approach your hubs? What are sticking points? So I think there's like 6 topics. Oh, and then there's some hub marketing case studies I think I've done more in depth. So there's a number of these topics, and the goal for me, and I think for any membership that's heavy on content, has to be about how do you make it really easy that people can find the thing they're looking for just right away, that they don't have to be searching for too long. So we're working on that. And also have been making this shift where this is part of the short-term, long-term. 4 times a year, I have a 30-day program. Cash flow program in the beginning of the year, then Marketing for Hippies 101, Point of View Marketing, and Hub Marketing. So those are the 4 that I do. And it was $300 US per person. And so every time I would do that before the membership, that was a good influx of cash, $5,000, $10,000, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So that's great. But now what we've said is, hey, you can join this for $300, or for just $100, you can join the membership and participate. And you get all of my ebooks, and you get all this free stuff, and then you could leave. So that we're, of course, we're gambling on the fact that people are going to stay for 3 months or more.
Yeah.
So we at least break even on what we would have made. And that's working. Every time we do a 30-day program, there's a boost in the numbers. More people come in, and they have stuck around for a while, I think, overall. So that's good, but it means making, in the short term, there's less cash flow coming in. We have to wait for those people to have stuck around long enough because most people aren't going to do all 4 in a year, which would be $1,200, which is the same as $100 a month, but most people don't do all of them. So just kind of banking on we get to a critical mass of that regular income. And so there's a lot of learnings like that. But I would say, the advice I would give to past me is have some spreadsheet in the beginning where you are clearly tracking how much money, like the active members, how much money is coming in every month from active members, and update that every month.
Yeah.
How much money came in the last month, how many monthly subscriptions do we have? I have 2 levels of foundations and a pro, tracking that. And then keep much better track of the expenses. So those are 2 of the things that come up off the top for me anyways.
Just had to fix that. There's a woodpecker out the window. So, I mean, it's taken me years to get a spreadsheet like that. So the fact that you're doing it in your first year, I'd say you're all the wiser. How would you find, like, you kind of left your Facebook behind. You're still slightly active on social media, but less active. How do you find the engagement levels and the connection to members versus what you were experiencing in social media in the past?
Well, it's interesting. Actually, in the last few months, I've actually boosted my social media. I've hired a woman, Rebecca Van Dam, who has been helping me with Instagram and Facebook to be more consistent in posting there. And so that's been great. That's actually probably been helping, selling some ebooks with that. And this is the other thing is there's this constant question of, how to keep people engaged so that, if it's a fit anyways, that people stick around long enough.
Yeah.
And so some of the things we've been doing, some of the experiments are, there's a weekly call for pro members, but summer and autumn, I've actually given 2 calls a week to pro members, just because of different time zones, which is also part of the thing to consider. No matter when you schedule it, you're screwing somebody somewhere. Somebody can't make it. But we're doing those calls. There's a monthly call for the foundation's members. We added a call, speaking of time zones, for Oceania members, people who live in Australia or that area.
Yeah.
There's a monthly call at a time that works for them. And then other people can join it as well. That's just a group Q&A open call. Then the other thing I'd really urge people to be thinking about, I've got way more ideas about this moving forward, but what are the kinds of group calls that can happen that you as the founder are not a part of? So there's 2 ones we're doing so far. One is the community collaboration calls, and the other one is a copy clinic. So the community collaboration calls, people gather for a little more than an hour, There's some brief intros. Everyone gets broken into Zoom rooms of 4 people each. Each of them has 12 to 15 minutes. They say, here's my issue. And then they get good questions, coaching, feedback from the other 3 people in the group. Then they switch, the next person, go back to the big group, share any reflections they have. So it's a way they can support each other without you, the founder, having to be present. The second one we're doing is the copy clinics. And the copy clinics are exactly the same format, but very focused on sales copy. So bring your homepage, bring a poster, bring a sales letter, and get other people's just candid reflections on it. There's other things I'm thinking about. One I'm thinking of calling the niching nugget or something, but it will just pick one specific question around niching. So for example, a question around, let's say the question is, who's the community you want to be adopted by? And then everyone would go away, think about it for 5 to 10 minutes, and then come back. And then there'd be a few shares to inspire each other. So you can see different angles, different ways to answer that question, and then it's done. So this would be at most a 30-minute call, but there'd be and I don't have to be there. Again, it's like, and it could also be, in my case, here's the question, here's a video from Tad we're going to watch together. Now you're going to go into your group. So again, I can lay out the curriculum of it, but I don't have to be there personally. Now this still costs though. You still have to pay somebody as a staff person to be there to administrate it. Although with the community collaboration calls, there's some members that have been so keen and they were like, we don't want this to go away. Because I was saying, look, the numbers, it's been, let's say 5 to 10 people showing up with those things. Yeah. Which I wish it were more. And this is also part of it, is like, well, what's the thing they want? What's the thing I could create that they would actually show up for? And I'm not convinced I've totally nailed it yet. But they said they'd be willing to organize it and run it and make sure it happens and do the facilitation of it. So we're trying that for 30 days. We're going to see how that goes because, of course, they're not being paid. So my concern is they might just, I can't make it, I'm sick. And then it just doesn't happen. There's nobody there to administrate or nobody let anyone in on the call. So we have to, I doubt that'll be an issue, but every time you do one of those calls that you're not at, you're still paying somebody. But it's also, the other thing we're doing is I'm starting to move into is bringing member presentations. But as I'm starting to get to know the members, I'm just seeing, so like Rebecca Van Dam has been helping me with social media. She came in and did a just kick-ass presentation around Instagram basics. So there have been various topics and we're keeping track, and this is, I would urge people to do. There's a way to do it in Zoom, but you can also keep track during the calls, just how many people came to each call. Yeah. Which topics, which formats seem to be resonating with your people the most. You may have to do it for 3 months to see. Yeah. But so next year we're going to be bringing in a lot more member presentations. I'll create a Google form where they can, and it'll be very clear. This is something else that we learned is some people were a little, members were a little put off, like, wait, how many people am I doing this for 4 people? And it, of course, didn't feel worth it. So we're just having to be clear. We will create the event in the membership. We will put it in the newsletter. We'll post it. Like, we'll do what we can to promote it. But it's whoever's going to be there is going to be there. But the recording will be there long term, and this will help. And making sure the expectations are clear. And then, of course, I'm also going to be bringing in a lot of colleagues, as many as I can get in to interview on specific topics, because then also part of it is for the interview and then the members can ask questions, but it's also so that we have the content on, like I interviewed a woman, May Sang, who does work around getting on podcasts. So now I've got that footage in my membership in this how to get booked on podcast sections. So I'm hoping to keep building a lot of these categories. And also I'll probably be asking my people, like, what are the topics that you want to hear more about? Where do you want more detail, more nuance, more support? So, do you know anyone who I could bring in to interview on that? So, and it's going to be this constant dynamic between more content, but then needing to, if I make more content, I may need to hone that assessment, the initial quiz that they do to see where they're strong and where they're weak. That's the next big thing, is creating an assessment they could fill out that would tell them, this is exactly what you need to focus on. Like, this is the course for you. This is the topic to check out. Yeah. This is the ebook to read. And maybe even potentially helping them understand what formats would be better for you.
Yeah.
for them. It's like, hey, it sounds like you need a one-on-one session. Here's how you can get that. Trying to make that as easy as possible. Oh, the other thing we're doing for engagement is there's a weekly email. I got this from my friend Kendra Kunov, who runs a membership. There's a weekly email, and that email, maybe actually I could just show folks, because that might be
Yep.
a little bit easier to take a gander at.
There you go.
Because we've experimented with the formats on this quite a bit. And so maybe I'll show an earlier one, and then I'll show the more recent iteration of it. Let's see if I can pull one up. Okay, so do a little screen share here so I can see. Oh, that's the wrong button. Screen share. Okay, so this is the email from June 21st. Of 2021. Oh, well, that one doesn't work. Oh, there we go. Okay, phew. So this was featuring a woman from Brazil who took my work around slow marketing and translated it literally into Portuguese. So you can see at the beginning, there's a lot of tech. Well, a lot of there's this, and then I was going for my goal of 100 pro members and keeping people on track on that. There's a funny meme. Question of the week. So this is something we've been experimenting with as an engagement thing, just every week we're questioning, what are your wins? Where are you struggling? Is another question. Is there anyone you appreciate? My personal favorite is the meme contest. Once a month, there's a meme of the month contest. And it's just, fun. So I think it's hilarious. And then now that's a good question. So there was members that asked questions. They're like, hey, here's some good questions that'd be good conversations to jump into. And then here's the new videos that are going up, and as you can see, quite a few. Actually, this is not a heavy week because these are a lot of the clips from the coaching sessions divided up.
And are those on YouTube as well?
They are. They're private, or they're unlisted on YouTube.
Yeah.
And that's something else. I haven't really engaged in terms of the permission. I would probably ask people's explicit permission. Can I share the clip with you in it?
Yeah.
And I could probably be doing that more. This is also something I'd encourage for people is if you're going to be doing these little clips and sharing it publicly, it's a good idea because it lets people know what's in your membership. And I just have not done that. One thing I've started doing is a monthly call, not just for members, called Free First Thursdays. First Thursday of every month, I do a free group coaching call, anyone, not just a member. And that one is explicit. This is going on YouTube. And get that divided into chunks. So that does give me content once a month to share from a membership-like structure. And it allows me to do a pitch for the membership every month to a small group of people. But that we got the new articles. Then there's the welcome new members. Shameless plugs for members. Members had some cool programs coming up. Then there's the upcoming events, regular things. Okay, so that's a few months ago. The feedback we got, understandably, is that was it's so long. It's just so much every week. And so here's a more recent one where we trimmed it down. And so it's just, hey, a very quick intro. If you want to know what Tad's up to, he's got his progress log, which I do keep up, pretty much every week. Here's a question of the week. Here's the new videos. Here's the new articles. Here's the upcoming events. And that's it, basically. So much tighter. And then we also started doing the
your open rate's awesome.
Sorry?
Good open rate.
Yeah.
50%.
Yeah. And then we started doing a monthly members missive. Let's see if I can find that. So we realized we could separate out some of this content and let's say this week, page 2, and put it in just a monthly email. Where the heck is it? Maybe this wasn't named that. Here we go. So this was December 6th was the first one. And this one, we separated out content. So this is just focused on the members. So I say, hey, we're trying something out new. It's our monthly members missive. And this is where we move the questions, conversation. Here's the welcome new members. This is once a month. We feature the new members, which is also helpful for me, because then I look at this email and I go and I say hello to each of these members.
Yeah.
Then there's shameless plugs for our members. Stuff they have coming up if we see anything, and then that's it. So we've divided it up into two again. So a monthly member email, and then one just more straight goods. Here's what's new in the membership. And that's felt really good. So that's something we tried.
And out of all the experiments you've done to create engagement, or all the events that you are doing, what do you find you get the best attendance of? And whether it's like, is it your Q&A coaching that you find, or do you find like the actual quarterly programs that you're launching, are those the best attended? Like, what's the...
That's interesting. I would say the quarterly ones, yeah, those have the most. I'd say there's probably 40, 45 people who sign up for those. The weekly calls, let's say 10 to 15 people per week, and there's 2 of those a week again. And the self-led community collaboration calls, copy clinics, again, 5 to 10 people per. And the Oceania call, I think we had 10 or 12 folks at that. Yeah, but the other thing I would say is more than the weekly calls, but less than the 30-day calls are the guest presentations. Some of those have had 20 to 30 if it's a really hot topic, like when Rebecca did the Instagram marketing. George Cow did one about LinkedIn marketing just recently. And that one also had a good response. So the guest presenters, it's a great idea, especially for, if you're going to have them do a longer thing, you probably want to pay them, but for an hour long, and I give them a shameless plug. I make sure that, hey, if people want to work with you, how do they do that? And I can say, this is something interesting. So there's a few people, Ingrid Lill, she's from Europe, and she does this life coaching with a pencil. She does a lot of doodling. So she actually draws visually out people's, like what the work I would do around niching, she's drawing it. It's a very sweet process she does. And she's already made $4,000 from the people clients she's gotten from the membership.
Sweet.
So I do have that in mind. Like, if I bring people in, are these the kind of people that somebody in the membership might actually want to hire to work on that specific piece? Yeah.
Amazing. And as far as experiments go, have there been any that you've tried that you're like, well, that sucked, won't do that again?
Totally. We have these groups in the membership, little subcategories, and I think that there probably still will be some long-term use out of these. But just to do the screen share again, so we've got the pro members, the past mentorship members. Then there's like youth empowerment, business veterans, business beginners, trauma, healers, body workers, food and nutrition, etc. There's a bunch of these topics, and so these little affinity groups, we thought, well, why don't we do a summit? And we'll do like a 2-hour thing, bringing together all the people in this group to share their thoughts with each other, kind of a SWOT analysis on the industry. And, what's going great, what are the weaknesses, opportunities, threats for the whole thing. And we sent out an email to the green thumbs, everyone in that group, and fucking nothing. I don't think one response. And man, I've had big conversations with my one of my helpers, Belle, in this, and there was no response. So we're like, forget it. And there was no like, hey Ted, whatever happened with that? Nobody. So that one, I really thought that it was actually going to be one of the things they would love the most, and there was just no interest in it at all. So that experiment was a dud.
What about the groups themselves? Are the groups active?
No,
really.
No, the subgroups aren't active. Everything just happens in the main feed. That's what I'm finding. Yeah. If I start, I think I could get some of those groups active, but I would really have to prime the pump. With a very specific focus and be there regularly in a way that I don't necessarily want to be. The other thing I really encourage people to do is have some, like a checklist, a weekly checklist or a daily checklist to just stay on top of comments in the membership. So for example, under the FAQs, we've got to ask questions, ask for feedback. When people introduce themselves, one of the first questions is, hey, what are one or two things you're struggling with? Welcoming new members, all these things. It's very easy for that to slip. And then you check back to this, ask a question, and there's been months and you haven't addressed any.
Yeah.
So number one, if you have somebody who's hired as a host, which I just urge people to do, they can be, at least giving some response. But then when you go through, you can be, just once a week, you have here's that link I go to. Click on this link. There's the thread. Throw down your answers. One of the great things that Mighty Networks does have is the unanswered. So when you look at the newsfeed, you can see what's stuff that nobody's commented on. Now you'll be depressed to know that a lot of that is your own stuff as the host. And like, oh shit. But other people post things and nobody's said anything. So I just think it's a great idea not to have anyone languish. One of the other things we're trying, here's another experiment that was is Lauren, who's the main host right now. I said, could you for the next, 8 days, just message 5 people, starting with some of the oldest ones, just saying, hey, how's it going? Any questions? And basically nobody replied to her. So that was interesting. I thought that would be a huge customer service win, but just no replies out of 40. So we stopped that. But now once a month, she's going to do a post and she'll tag in the single post all the new people from the last month. Like, hey, just welcome again to these people. How's it going? Do you have any questions? Just so that we can make sure that people aren't slipping through the cracks. So there's that.
And for next year, are there any big changes that you're making or anything you're looking most forward to or intending for the year?
Oh man, I've got so many ideas. Holy crow. I genuinely have a ton of thoughts of different courses to add, different, for example, one of the things is like we could be inviting members together to share what's the most successful marketing approach you're using right now.
Yeah.
We could be inviting them to share all sorts of stuff. Yeah, bringing in more guests. There's a list. Actually in the next week, I'm going to be sitting down, going through it and just asking myself, okay, when am I going to phase these things in? Yeah. At least to try them. And, I keep crossing my fingers that will just make it such a good experience that, even if they don't stick around, they'd be thrilled to tell people about it. Like, hey, this is an amazing value for what you pay. I'll say one of the unexpected hard things is people don't say goodbye when they leave for the most part. You just suddenly see this, they've canceled their payment, and it's somebody you maybe even felt a real connection with. So that's just how it is. I guess that's part of it, but that's something to just be ready for, that one day the person you were really enjoying in the program who was singing your praises is gone, and there was no Dear John letter.
Dear Tadlington, I'd like to just write you this open letter to thank you for the experience I've had.
Wouldn't it be nice? It'd be very sweet if when people left, they did a post to the group like, hey, I have to step back, for a while, and this has been a wonderful time, and appreciations all around. And I'm not sure I want people feeling that level of connection to an online community, but one of the other pieces of feedback I got, having the 2 levels, I just did a 30-minute call asking people to join to give ideas on how to grow the membership. And there were a few people that said in foundations, and they were like, I don't even really know what the difference between the foundations and the pro is, or how I would upgrade if I wanted to. And one woman said, I was really excited to upgrade and I couldn't find where to do it. And I'm pretty sure it's there. But so there's this kind of stuff where it's, okay, we probably need to have that in every single email. Want to upgrade to pro? Yeah. Click here, Yeah. And, or want to, even today I had a call with my assistant and realized there's a under the FAQs, we have one of the questions is, hey, or a topic is, do you want to cancel your account? I was like, we should have a separate one. Do you want to suspend or pause your account? Because some people don't want to cancel. Maybe they think that's the only way.
Right.
And I'm realizing I probably want to do once a month an orientation call. Again, we were doing it once a week in the beginning. And I think there's some people that are joining who probably aren't reading the whole Start Here thing. And so we may once a month do something, and then we'll tag everyone who signed up in the last couple months and say, hey, we're doing an orientation call just to walk you through, because I think so much of these, any software, any membership, the more that they are aware of and use, the more likely they are to stick around. So
totally. Yeah. If they're getting value and they're able to confidently find what they need, definitely more likely to stick around.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's any other major kind of wins that we've had or just learnings from this last while.
How does it feel for you, having had so much content, to just have it consolidated into one space?
I mean, it's incredible. It's amazing to finally have it. Because, I mean, the beautiful thing with YouTube that's even better than Mighty Networks is you can tag things, not just have to put it in a topic. But then I've also got articles. And then I've got these things that I don't want to have be public on YouTube. So the thing that the Mighty Networks framework has allowed is I can have all of it, all the articles, the private YouTubes, the public YouTubes, all really, really well organized into these different topics, which is, man, it feels so good. And I know there'll be more and more of this, but I can say, for example, to somebody in the membership, I can say, right, you need help with this, so go find this topic, and it's all there. Or this course, it's all there. And of course, I can't do courses on YouTube or I could with a WordPress plugin, but having it all in one place is a bit of a miracle. And it's really simplified the business model because I also redid my website. So now the basic flow is I'll be interviewed, I'll do presentations, social media posts, all of that fundamentally nudging people towards the starter kit. The starter kit is the full footage of my day-long workshop plus some other goodies. So they got a starter kit, and the starter kit directs them to the membership. So now it's just a two-step sales model, basically.
Yeah.
Everything to the membership. And then they're on my email list. And then maybe it's, hey, join a 30-day program, but then that still directs them to the membership. So it's like that's the center of my business ecosystem at this point, rather than, well, I've got a mentorship program, but it's full. Then I've got these 4 different 30-day programs. I do a bunch of teleseminars. Oh, and then I've got these ebooks, but there's also some free stuff here. And if you want to work with me one-on-one, rather it's all real central. And then of course, the pro members get a discount on the puttering sessions, which has been helpful. I would recommend that. Give your members a discount on the one-on-one work because it helps you help them. And then when you're talking to them, you can be learning about your membership, directing them to the best resources in the membership, which reminds them how good the membership is. And also, once a year, I would do a survey. I just put it out yesterday. I just asked 2 questions for the evaluation level anyways. What would you give this from 1 to 10? If it's not a 10, what's missing? What would it take for this to be a 10? I would just be asking for feedback. We're just trying to get that in. We got that. We did that with the newsletter. We said, hey, would you rather have like a few emails a week? We break it up, or do you want one a week or one a month? And they were like, less for sure, which is part of what encouraged me to, okay, let's separate these out into 2 different emails. So yeah, that's been, asking for the feedback as you go, checking in with members. How's it going? What's working, what's not working. Real important. And one of the other things I'll probably do is email my members in terms of the promotion and just say, hey, anyone want to interview me? And also, who should I be interviewed by? Your members are going to be a really good source of hubs for you. They're going to be a really good source of where can you find future, which I haven't tapped. I just haven't really asked yet. So, but now I've got this core group of folks. The other thing I got to get better at is the exit interview. Is when people leave, making sure we get their feedback if they're willing to give it. Yeah. Because if they left, there's a reason they left, and we should really know what those are. Now, some of it is I got what I needed and I'm done, perfect. or it just didn't feel like a fit, just fine. But maybe there's something we did wrong, or just a logistical thing that's easy enough to fix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many things.
So many things. Yeah. Bradley, did you want to share any quick, because you mentioned sharing some quick thoughts from other membership sites that you've been seeing?
Yeah, I mean, one of the ones you're already integrating, which all of the memberships we're doing now are doing, is in your public newsletter when you're sending out articles and videos, etc., to help promote whatever it is that you're doing. You guys have added in a section that is what's happening inside of the membership. And it's basically like, here's all the things that you're missing out on because you're not a member. And all of the different memberships that we have now, they're all doing that as a way to just showcase, like, here's all of the value taking place in the next 30 days. And then at the bottom of that, having a little button that says start a free trial of the membership. So you guys are doing that one. Another one that we're working on right now, as far as a lead magnet goes, and this is for Jennifer Huff's community, is she's coming out with a book, and so we're working on the book promotion, the book launch, and she's going to be doing a lot of promotion and reaching out to her network to help her to get her network to promote the book. So she's going to be giving pretty sure she's going to be giving the digital version of the book away for free, and so people can essentially, affiliates can promote the book and have their affiliate link connected to the book. People get on the list for the book. And then if over the next 12 months, they join her membership, then it's like a 30% commission. If they join her like tier 2 and 3 programs, it's a 15% commission. And if they join her really high-end programs, then it's a 10% commission. And those are all tracked over the next 12 months after somebody has become a customer. And so that's one of the ones we're doing to help her just get her book launch out and to make it, to help the book flow into the membership. And so the book launch is going to have a series of emails that around the book and some events. The other one that we're doing, which I think would be really great for you, is this is something that Lauren's doing at the Radiant Sutra School of Meditation, and Jennifer is going to be doing something similar as well, is going for like a virtual speaking tour. So reaching out to people in your network and basically offering, like, I'll come do a 2-hour workshop, and based on whoever their audience is, you choose the topic that you think their audience would be most aligned with, and you give a 2-hour workshop or a 90-minute workshop that helps them to walk away with specific benefits. And at the end of that, you get the opportunity to promote your membership. And so it's a way for you to show up, offer something of high value for no cost. The person who hosts you, they're going to promote it to their list a couple of times. They're also going to promote the recording. They get to keep the recording. You get to keep the recording. It's kind of like an everybody wins situation, because they're opening up themselves, or opening you up to their audience, and they get to look good. They get the asset of the recording for their channels, and anybody that resonates will obviously come along on the journey with you for the membership. So as long as it's upfront, like the intentions, we may be getting people coming to our membership. That's what we're going to be promoting at the end of this. So those are a couple of the things that we're moving into the new year with for the memberships. The other thing that I think we did 5 membership launches this year. Every single time, lifetime access for a limited time only is just like the out of the park. It just works every time, getting people to for during the launch period, the 35-day pre-sales launch window, having an offer that is lifetime access. And ultimately, there's several reasons. One, it builds the bank account so that you can afford to launch your membership, and you've got some money in the bank to get you through the first bunch of months of running your membership. But 2, it helps you to really find your founding members that are going to create the culture inside of your community. And I would imagine for you, a lot of the people that are the most active and caring members inside of your community, I bet you a good percentage of those are probably your founding members that have been there since day one.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's just a sense of ownership, right? That people feel as a founding member of like they feel this like rooted connection inside of the community space. I mean, we still at Magic Media, we have founding members that have been around for 6 years and they still come to our coaching calls every couple of years or every couple of weeks. It's amazing.
Amazing. I'll just thought I'd show people the speaking of this email. So this is an example, an email I sent recently. So here's the basic thing. I would often put in some sweet memes. If we scroll past the memes.
Love the memes.
Then this is a program for a friend I'm plugging. Right, I've got the free first Thursdays. Here's the upcoming member-only events. So here's the community collaboration call dates coming up. Here's the weekly copy clinic. Here's the weekly calls for pro members. Here's the monthly calls. Here's the Oceana call. We're doing this thing with George Cow on LinkedIn marketing. So so we show that every single time. And of course, this is a real incentive to keep the content fresh in the membership. Because if you've got a bunch of guest presenters, a bunch of really cool stuff happening, and people keep seeing that, I think this is one of these like, damn. And also on my events page on my website, I think I'll probably do that as well.
Yeah.
Here's the public events, here's the members only events. We'll see. We'll see how much traffic that events page actually gets and if it's worth it. But yes, anything you can be doing to feature and talk about the membership, the better.
Yeah.
One idea I've just had that I'm probably going to do is, it occurred just as we were talking, is I'll send an email out to members and say, hey, do you think you're applying some piece of the Marketing for Hippies philosophy really well? And would you like to be featured? And then it'd be like a 15 to 30 minute feature. It's like, okay, so what's the thing you've applied? What's the results that have happened? And of course, then that's a chance to plug and talk about the membership. And then just like, and how's the membership been for you? They can talk about that. And then I can be sharing that as little bits of YouTube content.
Yeah. And I was going to say the other thing that I've seen working is just like you said, the quarterly events. So Lauren's doing these like higher end programs as well that are just every 2 to 3 months, they offer something that's like a 4 to 6 week program that's once a week they meet and they go deeper on a topic. Those ones fill up and they also bring a lot of new members. And then same goes with Jennifer when they're doing their other programs. That it really helps to drive people in, especially when it's like, you pay $300 if you're a non-member, or it's included, or you pay $100 if you're a member, depending on the model and the membership price. But having those bigger programs and pulling people in as the draws, like be a member and this is included, or be a member and you get, you pay a third of the price, is really great way to help bring people in.
It's I'll probably keep doing that forever. So there's all sorts of things. We'll keep experimenting over the next year. We'll keep you posted on how it goes.
Well, that's great. Do you have, for anybody that's like 2022 is my year, I'm going to go build a membership site. Do you have any words of wisdom for them?
Get help. Get help. Don't try to do it alone. I mean, advice I would say, talk to Bradley and them about their experience, and especially how to launch it. But talk to other people who run memberships. That would be my biggest advice. Sit down, talk to a bunch of other people who run, and also check out different platforms. Mighty Networks is great, but there's other ones. You want to find a platform that's really going to work for you, and you're going to want to have help of people who are very familiar with that platform, because there's so many glitches that come up, and it's the worst because if you don't know how to fix it. So make sure you've got the technical help in the background, which I do have, because working with Brad and Paige and that team, I've been able to have people to call. But if I didn't have somebody to call, it's just a terrible, desperate feeling to know that there's something you urgently need to fix and you actually have no idea where to start. So line up all your help up front. Don't wait until 100 people can't get into the membership. We just actually started a local Mighty Networks. Somebody hit the wrong button, meaning to delete 2 people, and deleted everybody. and there were about 80 people in it. Now we've rebuilt, it's over 105 people, but it was, luckily, I think we had Belle was able to get on the case because she's been helping me behind the scenes and had some familiarity and reached out to the Mighty Networks. But God, get your help in advance and plan it. Bradley and I did this course together called Pre-Sales Magic, and the big thing was just plan your launch. Lay it out way in advance, a year, 6 months at the least in advance. Think it through how you're going to launch it, but also really think through the design. Now, there's a lot you get there and you're going to figure it out as you go, but boy, you'd be real glad to have it all thought through. Yeah, you'll thank yourself for it.
Amen. Well,
Wow.
I wish you and your membership great success in the coming year, and for all of your members as well to get the support that they need and that they want, and that your new website and your starter kit, that it really helps people to integrate into what you're doing, because it's amazing. I mean, what you have there and the amount of service you're providing, like, you're doing a really great job at serving your people. You guys are showing up multiple times a week live to give people the help that they need, which is amazing.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Congratulations on getting this far.
Yeah. Well, here's to another year. We'll do this again in a year.
Yeah.
I get the sense that, the first year was a lot of just working out the kinks and trying to find the stride, but I really feel like year 2, we're gonna hit the stride properly, and it's gonna be pretty wonderful.
Well, good luck.
Thanks.
Thanks for the conversation.